In the vast expanse of the Andromeda galaxy, there existed a civilization so peaceful that they made Gandhi look like a warmonger. The Zephyrians, with their towering, willowy frames and iridescent skin that rippled with calming patterns, had achieved what most species considered impossible, a society entirely devoid of conflict, and boy, were they smug about it. Historical Archives of the Galactic Council, entry 47392b. The Zephyrians have once again submitted their annual report containing 0 incidents of violence, 43 million successful conflict mediations, and one particularly aggressive game of musical chairs that was quickly resolved through interpretive dance. Their cities were architectural marvels of flowing crystal and living light, where even the buildings seemed to avoid confrontation by politely merging into one another rather than having harsh corners. The Zephyrians themselves floated more than walked, their gravitational manipulation technology ensuring they never had to experience the violence of footsteps against the ground. They consumed only liquid nutrients extracted from photosynthesis, having long ago decided that chewing was far too aggressive an action for their enlightened society. Can you imagine? Zixatal, a prominent Zephyrian philosopher, once wrote in their best-selling book Peace, Love, and Other Universal Constants, "There are still species out there who use their face holes to mechanically break down solid matter. The very thought sends ripples of distress through my harmony glands." Their diplomatic center, the Crystal Spire of Eternal Understanding, stood as a testament to their dedication to peace. Its 3,000-story height was supposedly designed to give arguing parties plenty of time to calm down while ascending to their meeting rooms, not that anyone ever argued. The most heated debate in recent memory had been about whether the spire's ambient mood lighting should be set to serene azure or tranquil cerulean. They eventually chose both because choosing one over the other might have created discord. It was into this utopia of ultimate pacifism that humanity quite literally crashed. The human vessel, a small diplomatic shuttle named Asterisk, probably not going to explode Asterisk, proved its name ironically inaccurate as it came hurtling through the Zephyrian atmosphere, trailing smoke and what appeared to be a series of increasingly creative expletives through the communication channels. It finally came to rest, or more accurately, embedded itself in the meditation gardens of the Crystal Spire, right in the middle of the annual Festival of Gentle Whispers. The Zephyrians watched in horror as the ship's hatch was kicked open. "Such unnecessary force," gasped first speaker Limrol, and 3 humans emerged, coughing and arguing about who had forgotten to check the antimatter containment levels. The horror only intensified as they watched one human pull out a multi-tool, a weapon, shrieked an observer. Another unwrap some kind of solid nutrient bar, "They're consuming corpses," another fainted. And the third began tapping on a datapad with audible clicking sounds. "Such aggressive data entry," whispered a scandalized elder. The Zephyrians' perception of the universe was about to change dramatically. They just didn't know it yet. What they did know was that these humans needed to be contained, peacefully of course, before they corrupted the very fabric of their society with their barbaric ways. Oh, if only they knew that it was already too late. After the Great Landing incident, which the Zephyrians had officially classified as an unexpected arrival of enthusiastic proportions, the Galactic Council insisted on establishing a proper cultural exchange program. Earth, in what would later be recognized as either their greatest diplomatic victory or most catastrophic mistake, sent 3 representatives who perfectly embodied humanity's chaotic nature. Dr. Alexandra Lex Chen arrived with 16 different experimental projects stuffed into her luggage, none of which were strictly legal in any known jurisdiction. The biochemist's personal mission statement was, "Science isn't about why, it's about why not," which had already gotten her banned from 3 Earth laboratories and 1 orbital research station. The incident with the self-replicating coffee machine was still classified. "I assure you," she told the horrified Zephyrian customs official, "these samples are completely harmless. Well, mostly harmless. Well, definitely less harmful than last time." The fact that one of her sample containers was quietly humming the theme from Jaws didn't help matters. Commander James Duke Morrison had been selected for his impressive diplomatic record, which everyone failed to notice was largely achieved through what he called strategic shenanigans. The ex-military man had once prevented an interstellar war by convincing 2 hostile species, that Earth's sacred greeting ritual was the Macarena. Both species still performed it at all diplomatic functions, much to humanity's continued amusement. "Trust me," he said, unpacking his bags, "these whoopee cushions are essential diplomatic tools." He had smuggled in 37 of them. Professor Raj Patel was supposed to be the sensible one. The anthropologist had 3 PhDs, wrote 12 books on interspecies relations, and had a saved collection of over 9,000 memes that he considered vital cultural artifacts. His thesis on the cultural significance of Rick-rolling in post-First Contact society was required reading at the Diplomatic Academy. "You see," he explained to a group of bewildered Zephyrians, "when the cat asks for cheeseburger, it's actually a complex commentary on desire and linguistic evolution." The Zephyrians, who had neither cats nor cheeseburgers, started a 3-week meditation retreat to ponder this wisdom. The Zephyrians, in turn, sent their most composed diplomats, first speaker Limral, whose emotional control was so legendary they were rumored to have maintained perfect serenity while watching all seasons of Earth's reality TV shows, Harmony Guide Vexener, who had achieved such inner peace that their cellular structure was practically catatonic, and cultural observer Zinthar, whose name roughly translated to "one who observes without judgment, but maybe just a little side-eye." The first major cultural exchange activity was meant to be something simple: card games. The humans thought it would be a nice, peaceful way to break the ice. They were wrong, so very, very wrong. "So," first speaker Limral said, examining their cards with increasing distress, "you're telling me that this king can simply destroy my 10 through superior force, and you call this entertainment?" "It's just go fish," Duke tried to explain, but the damage was done. "And in this poker you deliberately mislead your opponents about your tactical resources." Harmony Guide. Vexena's skin had turned a concerning shade of puce. "This is military training disguised as recreation." Professor Patel attempted to lighten the mood by introducing them to Uno. The resulting diplomatic incident when Zinthar was hit with a draw 4 card required 3 emergency meditation sessions and a formal apology from Earth's Secretary General. The Zephyrians began documenting what they saw as clear evidence of humanity's militaristic nature. Asterisk Official Observation Log, Day 7, asterisk. Humans engage in ritualistic combat simulation called 52 Pickup. Resource warfare training disguised as Monopoly. Psychological torture protocol known as Happy Families. Aggressive territory acquisition game dubbed Solitaire, practiced alone to maintain peak combat readiness. What the Zephyrians failed to realize was that these combat simulations were having an unexpected effect on their own psyche. Some younger Zephyrians were caught secretly practicing Snap in the meditation gardens, and there were whispered rumors of underground old maid tournaments. The corruption had begun, and there was no going back. The day the Zephyrian civilization began its descent into chaos, or ascent into fun, depending on who you ask, started with a whoopee cushion strategically placed in the Grand Chamber of Serenity. When first speaker Limral settled onto their hovering meditation cushion during the morning peace conference, the resulting sound echoed through the crystal chamber like a foghorn having an existential crisis. The initial reaction was panic. 3 junior diplomats immediately initiated emergency meditation protocols. But then something unprecedented happened. Ambassador Pixetel, known for maintaining a serious demeanor through 6 decades of service, actually snorted. The sound was so shocking that it made everyone forget about the original disruption. What was that sensation?" Pixetel asked, touching their face in confusion. "My facial muscles contracted involuntarily, and I experienced a moment of joy at another's minor discomfort. Is this a medical emergency?" Duke Morrison, trying and failing to keep a straight face, introduced them to the concept of pranks. "It's like diplomacy," he explained, "but instead of avoiding conflict, you create tiny, harmless ones for entertainment." The Zephyrians were simultaneously horrified and intrigued. Their society had no concept of practical jokes, having evolved past even the most basic forms of mischief. But something about this recreational mischief struck a chord in their collective psyche. Asterisk Security Alert Log Week 4 asterisk. 17 instances of mysteriously rearranged meditation cushions. 1 case of peaceful contemplation disrupted by "kick me" sign. 3 reports of meditation tea being replaced with mildly different tasting meditation tea. Multiple sightings of diplomatically placed banana peels. Note, security cameras revealed all incidents traced back to senior diplomat Zix et al., who claims to be conducting research. The situation escalated when Dr. Chen, in an attempt to promote human Zephyrian bonding, introduced them to Earth sports. The concept of competitive physical activity was foreign to the Zephyrians, who had evolved beyond the need for exercise through advanced genetic engineering. The objective, Chen explained, holding up a foam ball, is to throw this at your opponents while avoiding being hit yourself. You mean intentionally propel an object toward another being? Harmony Guide Vexner asked, aghast. With their consent, yes, it's called dodgeball. The first game was a disaster. The Zephyrians floated stationary, allowing themselves to be hit while murmuring apologies to the ball. But then something clicked. Junior diplomat Kixnor, after being hit for the 15th time, did the unthinkable. They dodged. The gasp that went through the chamber could have depressurized a space station. But Kixnor wasn't finished. They picked up the ball, and with a form that would have made any PE teacher proud, launched it across the room. I feel exhilarated, they announced, their skin pulsing with confused patterns. Is this what violence feels like? That's the spirit, Duke cheered, right before being pelted by 17 perfectly aimed shots from suddenly very enthusiastic Zephyrians. By week 6, the Zephyrian Dodgeball League had been formed, complete with team names like the Peaceful Projectiles and the Non-Violent Vindicators. Matches were preceded and followed by extensive meditation sessions and formal apologies to all participants, but the competitive spirit had been awakened. Then came the incident with the spicy food. Professor Patel, missing his hometown cuisine, had set up a small kitchen in his quarters. The smell of curry wafting through the crystal corridors drew curious Zephyrians like moths to a flame. But you intentionally add irritants to your nutrient paste, cultural observer Zinthar asked, watching Patel cook. Try it, Patel offered, holding out a spoonful of butter chicken. It's mild, I promise. The reaction was immediate. Zinthar's eyes widened, their skin cycling through colors faster than a disco ball. This is inappropriate, they gasped, before asking for seconds. Within days, the Zephyrian black market was flooded with earth spices. Meditation sessions were interrupted by the sound of illicit snacking. The Council of Eternal Peace had to issue an official statement that experiencing voluntary oral stimulation through capsaicin is not technically a violation of our non-violence principles. But perhaps the most significant change came with the discovery of sarcasm. It started during a routine diplomatic meeting when Duke, frustrated with the endless circles of politeness, responded to a particularly obvious statement with, "No, really, I never would have guessed." The Zephyrians were fascinated. Here was a way to express disagreement without direct confrontation. It was like their entire worldview had been flipped upside down. Diplomatic Training Update, Week 10, added new course, The Art of Saying How Interesting in 17 Different Tones. Workshop, Passive-Aggressive Note Writing, When Peace Be With You Means Please Stop That. Seminar, Advanced Eye-Rolling Techniques for Non-Confrontational Disapproval. The transformation was subtle but undeniable. Zephyrian diplomatic messages, once novels of flowery praise and agreement, became masterpieces of subtle shade. Their famous patience developed an edge of what they called peaceful persistence. "I'm sure you'll make the right decision" became their favorite diplomatic phrase, delivered with a smile that somehow conveyed both tranquility and impending doom. The galaxy watched in confusion as the most peaceful species in known space developed a reputation for getting exactly what they wanted, while technically maintaining their non-violent principles. As one human observer noted, they haven't become violent at all. They've become something far more terrifying, passive-aggressive. And they were just getting started. The first sign that something had fundamentally changed in Zephyrian society came during the annual Galactic Peace Conference. The Kraxan delegation, notorious for their aggressive expansion policies, was in the middle of their usual speech about necessary military actions when a Zephyrian representative simply raised an eyebrow. The gesture was so subtle that most species missed it, but that single, elegantly arched eyebrow, combined with a smile that could only be described as serene with a side of sinister, caused the Kraxan war chief to stumble over his words and hastily revise his planned annexation of 3 star systems. Excerpt from Galactic News Network, report. In an unprecedented turn of events, the Kraxan Empire has voluntarily withdrawn from disputed territories, citing a deep spiritual revelation about peace, and absolutely no connection to the fact that Zephyrian meditation ships have been floating outside their space stations, playing Earth's Baby Shark on repeat for the past week. The Zephyrians had discovered something powerful, the art of implication. Their diplomatic messages underwent a subtle but terrifying transformation. Before we humbly request you consider the benefits of peaceful trade relations. After, we are delighted to continue observing your trade routes with our new fleet of meditation vessels. They're equipped with our latest amplification systems for broadcasting calming mantras 24 hours a day. How wonderful that sound travels in space, isn't it? The Mercantile Confederation of Proxima learned this the hard way when they attempted to raise tariffs on Zephyrian goods. The Zephyrian response was a masterpiece of peaceful intimidation. Dearest friends, the message began, dripping with tranquility, we cannot help but notice your prosperity is built on extremely precise scheduling. It would be most unfortunate if our ships began practicing their new human meditation technique called randomly stopping in hyperspace lanes for impromptu yoga sessions. We're still quite clumsy with it. Namaste. The tariffs were dropped before the message finished transmitting, but it was the development of meme warfare that truly revolutionized galactic diplomacy. Professor Patel's extensive meme collection had found fertile ground in the Zephyrian consciousness. They didn't just study memes, they evolved them. The first deployment of tactical memetic warfare occurred during negotiations with the silicon consciousness of Vega. The artificial intelligence collective had been resistant to establishing diplomatic relations until their systems were flooded with images of cats asking, "Can I has peace treaty?" The AI's response was immediate, execute friendship.exe, these cats, they speak to our core processors. The Zephyrians had even adapted classic human memes for diplomatic purposes. Diplomatic transmission to aggressive species. Image, one does not simply walk into Zephyrian space. Image, the negotiations were short. Obi-Wan Kenobi looking serene but somehow menacing. Image, such peace, very diplomatic, much serenity, wow. Their meme development division, officially named the Department of Harmonic Digital Expression, but known throughout the galaxy as the Memetic Monastery, worked tirelessly to weaponize wholesomeness. But perhaps the most legendary transformation in Zephyrian diplomatic history was the great practical joke of 2287. The notoriously warlike Thraxian Empire had been threatening to invade several peaceful systems. The Zephyrians responded with what they called Operation Serenity Through Confusion. Phase 1, every Thraxian military communication system began playing nothing but Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up on infinite loop. Phase 2, their fearsome warships were repainted in pastel colors during the night shift. No one saw it happen. No one could prove who did it. But suddenly, the dreaded Thraxian death fleet was pink, with glitter. Phase 3, the Zephyrians sent a formal diplomatic note. We notice your ships appear to have undergone an aesthetic transformation. How delightful. We have taken the liberty of registering your fleet for the galaxy's most fabulous warships parade. The judges are very excited about your entry. Peace be with you. The Thraxians, faced with the prospect of either admitting they'd been pranked or actually participating in a fabulous warship parade, chose the latter. The sight of the galaxy's most feared warriors attempting to choreograph a synchronized spaceship dance to YMCA effectively ended their reputation as a military threat. Internal memo from the Galactic Council. The Zephyrians have somehow become more terrifying without violating a single one of their pacifist principles. They have mastered what they call hands-off chaos generation. We're not entirely sure if this is better or worse than actual violence. The transformation reached its peak when the Zephyrians established their Department of Preemptive Peace Maintenance, DPPM. Their methods were subtle but devastatingly effective, sending meditation cushions to aggressive species with built-in whoopee cushions, causing diplomatic embarrassment during war declarations. Broadcasting calming waves that just happened to be at the exact frequency to make certain species experience an overwhelming urge to dance. Deploying peace drones that followed angry diplomats around playing smooth jazz. responding to threats with therapy session invitations and passive-aggressive self-help book recommendations. As one human diplomat noted in their journal, the Zephyrians haven't become violent, they've become something far more dangerous. They've learned to weaponize inconvenience and embarrassment. They can destroy your entire civilization's credibility without ever raising a finger, all while maintaining perfect deniability and that infuriatingly serene smile. The final evidence of their transformation came during the Galactic Council's end-of-year session. The Zephyrian delegation arrived wearing T-shirts that read, "We're not touching you," in flowing, elegant script. Nobody could prove it was a threat, but somehow everyone knew it was. Personal log of the Galactic Council President. The Zephyrians have achieved what we thought impossible. They've become the most feared species in the galaxy, while technically becoming even more peaceful. They don't defeat you, they just make you defeat yourself, and they do it all with such serenity. The humans seem both proud and terrified of what they've created, as they should be, as we all should be. The galaxy had to accept a new reality. The most dangerous weapon wasn't a planet killer or a death ray. It was a Zephyrian smiling peacefully and saying, "We should discuss this over meditation tea. I brought enough for everyone. It's a special blend, very calming." The Vrultak Empire had a simple approach to galactic diplomacy. Show up with an overwhelming fleet, make demands, and watch as terrified civilizations scrambled to comply. This strategy had worked perfectly for centuries until they made the fatal mistake of threatening Earth. The humans weren't particularly worried. After all, they had decent defenses, several powerful allies, and a proven track record of surviving against the odds. But before they could even begin their standard humanity fuck yeah response, the Zephyrians stepped in. "Oh, dearest friends," the Zephyrian High Council transmitted to Earth, their message somehow conveying a smile that would make the Cheshire Cat nervous. "Please allow us to handle this small matter. Consider it repayment for all the wonderful cultural exchanges." Operation We're Not Touching You. Was launched immediately. The Zephyrians described it as a peacekeeping mission of unprecedented serenity. The Vrultak would later describe it as psychological torture through aggressive happiness. Phase 1 began with 5,000 Zephyrian ships taking position just outside Vrultak territory. Not entering it, that would be confrontational, just hovering, menacingly peaceful. Each ship was painted in eye-searing neon colors with slogans like "Free Hugs" and "Violence is like so last millennium." "What are they doing?" demanded Vrultak Supreme Commander Krasanak. "Nothing, sir," replied his tactical officer. "Absolutely nothing. They're just floating there, smiling. Should we shoot them?" "They're outside our territory. It would be an act of war. They're playing something called Baby Shark on all frequencies. Surely we can endure." 3 days later, Krasanak was found in his quarters, rocking back and forth, mumbling "do-do-do-do-do-do" repeatedly. Phase 2 involved the Zephyrians sending daily gift baskets to every Vrultak commander. Each basket contained a meditation cushion that made suspicious noises when sat upon. Self-help books with titles like "So You Want to Conquer the Galaxy? Have You Tried Yoga Instead?" Calming tea that had the side effect of making all food taste like raspberry for 24 hours. Glitter, so much glitter, it was somehow self-replicating. Internal memo, Vrultak High Command. Day 7, the glitter has reached the bridge. It's in the ventilation systems. It's in our food. Everything sparkles. The crew is becoming festive. This morning, I caught Lieutenant Vaxeter trying to organize a dance party. "We are a warrior race. We do not dance. Please send help." Phase 3 was particularly diabolical. The Zephyrians began sending hourly updates about their intergalactic peace festival that they were definitely not organizing just outside Vrultak space. Each update included invitation reminders, RSVPs from other major powers, passive-aggressive notes about their concerning absence, updates about the dance competition they had been automatically entered into. But the killing blow, metaphorically of course, the Zephyrians would never, came when they deployed their latest innovation, the peace pods. Small, autonomous drones that would follow Vrultak ships at a legally acceptable distance, broadcasting meditation mantras, calming whale songs, the complete works of Rick Astley, and yes, Baby Shark on infinite loop. The Vrultak tried everything. Shooting the pods, they dodged while playing You Can't Touch This. Entering hyperspace, the pods followed, somehow making hyperspace travel groovy. Filing diplomatic complaints, the Zephyrians responded with gift baskets and therapy vouchers. Asterisk intercepted Vrulthak communication, day 15, asterisk. The crew is breaking down. Yesterday, the entire 4th Fleet started a conga line. The 3rd Fleet has declared itself a dance commune. The 2nd Fleet's commander is leading meditation sessions. We caught Supreme Commander Krasanak trying to organize a talent show. By week 3, the Vrulthak Empire, a civilization that had terrorized the galaxy for millennia, officially surrendered. Not because they were defeated militarily, but because, as their surrender document stated, we cannot endure another minute of this peaceful harassment. Our mighty warriors now spontaneously burst into choreographed dance routines. Our war rooms are covered in motivational posters. Yesterday, our entire war council spent 6 hours discussing their feelings. We give up. Just make it stop. The Zephyrians' response was typically serene. We accept your surrender with joy and love. As a gesture of peace, we've enrolled your entire military in our new conflict resolution workshop. It's mandatory. Also, we're keeping the peace pods in place, just to make sure the peace sticks. They've grown quite attached to you. The galaxy watched in awe as the mighty Vrulthak Empire transformed overnight from a warmongering civilization into a society of reluctant meditation enthusiasts with an unexpected appreciation for Earth pop music and a serious glitter addiction. Asterisk official report to the Galactic Council. The Zephyrian response to the Vrulthak crisis has established a new paradigm in conflict resolution. They have proven that one does not need weapons to break an enemy's will to fight. Sometimes, all you need is an endless supply of passive-aggressive kindness, self-replicating glitter, and a really, really annoying song. In the end, humanity had to admit that their peaceful friends had taken their methods of annoying people into submission and elevated them to an art form. The Zephyrians had not only prevented a war but had done so while maintaining their pacifist principles and giving the galaxy a delightful new phrase. Don't make us send the Zephyrians. It was the ultimate threat. In the years following the Vrulthak incident, the Zephyrians' reputation underwent a fascinating transformation. They were still known as the galaxy's most peaceful species, technically, but the word peaceful was now whispered with the same tone usually reserved for describing active volcanoes or hungry predators. Asterisk Encyclopedia Galactica, updated entry, Zephyrians. Primary characteristics: tall, willowy beings known for their absolute pacifism and their ability to make that pacifism feel like a threat. The only known species to weaponize serenity. Approach with caution. They're about to offer you tea, and you're about to accept it whether you want to or not. Their methods became legendary. Need to stop a war? The Zephyrians would send their mobile meditation units, ships that would peacefully park themselves in strategic locations and play calming music, red earworms, until both sides begged for peace. Trade dispute, they'd flood both parties with so much perfectly formatted paperwork that signing a peace treaty seemed easier than filling out another form. The Galactic Diplomatic Corps created a new threat level classification system. Level 1, minor disagreement. Level 2, armed conflict. Level 3, full-scale war. Level 4, Zephyrians are getting involved. One particularly memorable incident involved a space pirate fleet that made the mistake of raiding near Zephyrian space. The pirates received individually addressed thank you cards for participating in their unscheduled cultural exchange program, along with performance review forms and suggestions for career counseling. The pirates surrendered within hours, citing excessive administrative harassment. The humans watched their creation with a mixture of pride and terror. They had wanted to teach the Zephyrians about human culture. They hadn't expected them to perfect it to such a terrifying degree. We've created monsters, Dr. Chen observed during a diplomatic function, watching a Zephyrian delegate destroy a rival's entire argument with nothing but a raised eyebrow and a serene smile. Incredibly peaceful, passive-aggressive monsters. They're like that one aunt everyone has, Commander Morrison added, the one who can make bless your heart sound like a death threat, but they've scaled it up to a galactic level. Professor Patel just nodded sagely while updating his thesis. From we come in peace to we come in passive-aggressive peace, the evolution of galactic diplomacy. The final word on the matter came from an anonymous Zephyrian diplomat who was overheard saying, "Violence? How uncivilized. We prefer to achieve our objectives through aggressive acts of peace. After all, You can't prove we're doing anything wrong if we're technically just being nice. And so the galaxy entered a new era of peace, not because everyone had become more peaceful, but because no one wanted to deal with the Zephyrians' unique brand of conflict resolution. As one human diplomat put it, the galaxy has learned that the opposite of violence isn't peace. It's passive-aggressive Zephyrians with unlimited patience and a meme collection. The humans had succeeded in their mission to teach the Zephyrians about their culture, perhaps a little too well. Peace had never been so terrifying.